Benita never imagined marriage would feel like a burden she carried alone. While she cooked, cleaned, and worked herself to exhaustion, her husband Chidi only shouted, complained, and treated her like she didn't matter. Day by day, his disrespect grew, until one event finally opened the door to truth, strength, and change. People in the neighborhood said Benita was strong. They said she had a heart like a rock, a smile like sunshine, and patience that could calm a crying baby. But that morning, as the first cock crowed and darkness slowly left the sky, Benita sat on the cold kitchen floor with her head in her hands. For the first time in her life, she cried loudly. Not quiet tears, not silent pain, loud, shaking tears. And the reason was simply her husband, Chidi. Chidi, the man she married with love in her heart and dreams in her eyes, had become the loudest storm in her life. That morning, he shouted again, all because the tea was too hot. It wasn't tea. It wasn't the salt. It wasn't the clothes. It wasn't the mop. It was Chidi himself. Everyone saw it except him. But let us go back to how this painful journey started. When Benita first met Chidi 8 years earlier, he was charming. He smiled easily, laughed loudly, and looked like a man who cared about people. He helped her carry her bag when they met at a bus stop. He told her she deserved a soft life. He promised to protect her. He promised to make her happy. Back then, Chidi was like honey, sweet and easy to love. But life has a way of showing people's real faces when the excitement of love fades. After their wedding, things changed slowly. At first, Chidi stopped helping her carry groceries from the market. Then, he stopped clearing his plates after eating. Then, he stopped appreciating anything she did. Then, he started shouting. Soon, shouting became normal. He shouted if the yam was soft. He shouted if the stew was thick. He shouted if she came home late from work. He shouted if she was tired. He shouted if she was sick. It didn't matter what she did. In Chidi's eyes, Benita was always wrong. Benita worked in a small office as a secretary. She woke up at 5 a.m., prepared food, cleaned the house, and still rushed to work before 8 a.m. After work, she returned home to cook dinner, wash clothes, sweep the compound, and pack Chidi's things. Chidi did nothing. He would sit on the sofa watching TV, legs wide, belly forward, and expect Benita to serve him like a king. Benita, bring the remote. Even when the remote was beside him. Benita, my water is cold. Warm it for me. Even when he could stand up. Benita, why is the house dirty? Even when he messed it up. And if she dared to complain, Chidi responded with insults. You are a woman. That is your job. You are lazy. You are trying to disrespect me. If you don't like it, go back to your father's house. Those words were knives to her soul. Many nights, Benita cried quietly, while Chidi snored beside her. She would face the wall, hugging her pillow, wondering where the man she loved had gone. She was not the type to tell people her problems. She kept everything inside. Even her mother believed Chidi was a good husband. He always acted gently in public. He smiled at the neighbors. He greeted the elders. He even bought gifts for Benita's parents. Nobody saw the monster he became behind closed doors. Benita began losing weight. She stopped wearing makeup. She stopped meeting friends. She stopped smiling. She became a shadow moving in her own home. On a certain Saturday, everything changed. Benita woke up early, swept the compound, washed clothes, and prepared breakfast. She was already tired by 10 a.m. Her body ached. Her head was pounding. She needed rest. Chidi came out, dragging his slippers on the floor. "Where's my food?" he asked. "In the kitchen," she replied softly. He entered the kitchen, took one look at the meal, and shouted, "Why is the egg fried like this? Are you stupid? Can't you do a simple thing right?" She tried to explain. "Chidi, I'm tired. I've been working since morning." "So you want to give me rubbish food because you are tired?" he shouted, banging the table. "You are useless." The word useless stabbed her chest. Before she knew it, Chidi stood in front of her, finger in her face. "You better learn how to behave as a wife, or you will leave this house." Benita felt something break inside her. A wall, a strength, a patience that had been stretched too far. She did not answer him. She simply turned away and walked outside the house, her eyes full of tears. Chidi shouted behind her, "And where are you going? Come back here. I'm talking to you." But she kept walking. Benita stopped at the backyard and sat on the ground. She cried. Not softly, not quietly. She cried the cry of a woman who had carried too much. As she cried, her neighbor, Mama Tega, came out. "My daughter, what is it?" Benita wiped her face quickly. "Nothing, ma." "Don't lie to me. I hear you shouting every day. You cannot hide pain forever." At first, Benita wanted to deny everything, but something inside her opened. For the first time in 8 years, she spoke. She told Mama Tega everything: the insults, the shouting, the belittling, the endless chores, the disrespect. When she finished, Mama Tega held her hand. "My daughter, you have suffered." Benita broke down again. Unknown to Benita, something else was happening inside the house. Chidi's younger brother, Ebuka, had come to visit. He arrived quietly and heard Chidi shouting. He saw the plates Chidi threw. He saw the mess. And when he peeped through the kitchen door, he saw Chidi pacing, angry for no reason. Ebuka was shocked. He always thought Benita was the problem. Chidi had made it look that way, but now he saw the truth. Chidi was the wicked one. Ebuka stepped outside and found Benita crying with Mama Tega. He knelt beside her. "Benita, I'm so sorry for everything my brother has done to you. I didn't know." Benita could not speak. She was tired. Ebuka stood up angrily and marched to the house. Chidi was still shouting when Ebuka stormed into the living room. "Brother, what is wrong with you?" Ebuka asked. Chidi turned. "Stay out of this." "No, I won't," Ebuka replied. "You treat your wife like a slave. Do you think she's a machine? Do you think she doesn't get tired?" Chidi's mouth fell open. "How dare you talk to me like that?" he said. "How dare you treat Benita like trash?" Ebuka fired back. Chidi moved closer to him. "Don't raise your voice at me." "She does everything in this house," Ebuka shouted. "Everything. And you sit down like a king, doing nothing." Chidi blinked, shocked. Ebuka continued. "You shout every day. You insult her. Do you think that makes you a man?" Chidi was quiet for the first time. Neighbors gathered because the argument was loud. Soon, Mama Tega entered the house. Then, Papa Uche. Then, 2 other people. They told Chidi the same thing. "You are wicked. Your wife is suffering. A real man supports his home. You cannot treat her this way."
Chidi felt embarrassed. For the first time, he saw how people viewed him. He looked around at the faces, faces of disappointment. Benita came inside slowly, her eyes red from crying. The room went silent. Chidi looked at her. She looked back at him, tired and empty. She spoke clearly. Chidi, I am tired. I cannot kill myself. I cannot continue living like I am not human. I deserve peace. I deserve help. I deserve respect. Her voice did not shake. It was the strongest voice she had ever used. Chidi swallowed hard. Benita continued. If you want this marriage to work, you must change. Not for one day, not for 1 week. You must truly change. Chidi felt something heavy in his chest. He suddenly saw how wicked he had been, how blind, how selfish. I am sorry, he whispered. Benita almost did not believe him. The next day, Chidi did something shocking. He washed the dishes. People in the compound almost fainted. Later, he helped Benita sweep the house. He apologized for shouting. He took responsibility for his behavior. He promised to attend anger management counseling.
At first, Benita did not trust it, but she allowed him to prove himself. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. Slowly, the old Chidi returned. The gentleman she once fell in love with. He helped with chores. He praised her. He respected her. He listened. Their home became peaceful again. One evening, Chidi sat beside Benita. I want to thank you, he said softly. You could have left. You could have walked away. But you stayed and told me the truth. I was blind. Benita smiled gently. You hurt me, Chidi. But if you continue changing, our home will heal. He nodded, tears in his eyes. For the first time in their marriage, Chidi cried. It was a cry of a man who finally saw himself clearly. Love is not slavery. Marriage is not punishment. A partner is not a housemaid. Respect is the real foundation of a home. Benita learns to speak up. Chidi learns to change. And together, they rebuilt what they almost destroyed. A peaceful marriage is possible, but only when both partners carry the load together. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.